Want to fly hands-free in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024? With a Tobii Eye Tracker, you can look around the cockpit just like you would in real life, without touching your mouse, your hat switch, or even your keyboard. As of Sim Update 3, MSFS 2024 now has native support for Tobii. If you're on the SU3 beta, you can try it out right now. I've been using the Tobii Eye Tracker 5 for a while now. It's been about 4 years, and I absolutely love it because it feels natural. You just move your head and the camera moves with you. No need to assign camera controls, no need to fight with the Track IR or wear a headset. Now Tobii does support 6 degrees of freedom, so you can lean in, tilt, and all that, but I personally turned that off. Same with eye tracking. It works great, even through sunglasses, but I get motion sickness if there's too much movement. Still, it's super impressive and incredibly smooth. When MSFS 2024 first came out, Tobii wasn't supported out of the box. We had to dig into the XML config files to get it working. A big pain, especially for new simmers. Then Tobii gave us a solid workaround through their Tobii Game Hub, where you can enable head tracking for MSFS while we waited on a Sobo. And now finally with Sim Update 3, Tobii is supported natively. That means no third-party setup, just plug it in and head to the in-game settings. So now before you start, it's important to mount your Tobii below your eyes, usually right underneath your monitor. So I've got a flexi mount, and I've also got, it's just a flat, like for flat monitors. You can put it that right there, or the flexi mount goes right underneath. Flexi mount will be able to put it on an angle. Right now, I've got the Tobii Eye on this monitor, but I've got it easily set up. You can't really see it here on the screen, but it's actually magnetically connected to the monitor without a mount, so it can do that too. And the only reason why I'm doing it that way is because I've got my racing wheel right in front of me, and I can't get the flexi mount to go to fit between the monitor and the shaft of like the wheel. So that's where I have to put it right on the monitor itself, and I'm able to place it just a little bit higher, just at the edge of the screen, and it's good enough that it can pick up my my head and my eye tracking. And it's important that it's below your eyes, because if you put it above, because I've tried it above between my two monitors, and that didn't work because it can't track your eye or head movement. And then I even tried flipping it upside down, and that didn't work for me. I've seen that some people can get it to flip upside down, but if you are able to get that done, then you have to change all the axes. You have to inverse them. So now let's take a look at the native settings within Sim Update 3 and beyond. So you're going to go up to the top. You're going to go to your controls. You can also do this by going to escape and then settings, controls. That you're going to see everything on a full screen. Here, the controls. This is nice to be able to test things because you can easily test while this is open. I can't really resize this, but that's fine. Here on your devices, you're going to see your Tobii. Click on the cogwheel. You've got rename, deactivate, and hardware settings. You want the hardware settings. And then here you've got 7 different settings. What I'll do is I'll give you the recommended values that Tobii has given, and then you'll see here these are actually the ones that I'm currently using at the moment, and this could always change down the road, experimenting, tweaking things. But this first one, it's eye versus head tracking. So it determines the percentage that head tracking contributes to achieving the camera's max angle. So if you have this at 0.85, that means 85% will be head tracking, and then at most achieve a 85% max angle. The rest is going to be achieved by your eye tracking. So if you pick a higher value, you're going to prefer extended view to be mainly controlled by your head tracking, and vice versa. So less, it's going to be less of head tracking and more of eye tracking. So I've got it at the default, which is the 0.85. Then the second one is your eye tracking responsiveness. This is how quickly the in-game camera will respond to your eye movement. They recommend 0.5. I got it at 0 because I just find it's a lot of movement, especially if I'm in the cockpit and I'm trying to click on stuff. Let's just put it at 0.5 so we can see for demonstration purposes what it looks like. And this is what I like about having the controls right while you're in the sim, is that you can just minimize this. You don't even have to minimize. You can see what's going on sort of like around you. But I'm going to turn the Tobii on. And then now there we go. So now I'm like turning my head around. But now watch this. I'm now looking straight. My head is straight, but now I'm going to look at the top right. Then I'm going to look bottom right, bottom left, then top left. So I did that all with eye tracking. And you can change that sensitivity to be more or less sensitive to your eyes. But like for me, like, yeah, you can actually be in the cockpit seat and, you know, press buttons. But if there's too much movement, it's going to give me motion sickness. But I could be like pressing, instead of like the APU, I could press like an emergency button for, you know, who knows. So that is the eye tracking. And really, I keep it off, but you could do whatever floats your boat. If you want it to be super sensitive, you can do that. So I've got also two buttons that are set. I've got that are on my stick. One is to reset. Reset the actual setting is called Track IR. I don't know why it's called Track IR when it's not Track IR. That's the partnership. It's Tobii Eye. But yeah. And then I've got another button that is set to toggle it on and off. So now I can move my head without. So this is what I like, is I will put myself up into like the overhead panel, and then I'll stop the head tracking so that I can focus on whatever I'm trying to do, rather than, you know, missing a button and hitting something crucial. So let's go back to the settings. We've got the first two done. This third one, you don't see the full name. If you do go on the full screen, you'll see the full name for all these settings. But this third one is the head tracking sensitivity, yaw and pitch. So this allows you to adjust how sensitive the camera is to head movements. The higher the setting, the more the camera will turn when you move your head. The settings value is a multiplier of your head movement. So setting of 2.0 means it'll turn twice as much as your head. Set it to 0 to disable the yaw and pitch tracking, and the recommended value is 2. I've put it to I've put this to 0.7. And so I'm like limited in that case to the movement. If we go back here, turn the head tracking back on. So it's moving, but like I can only turn that far. If I put this up, if I go to, let's say, well, let's go to 2. And then like I just barely moved, and I've done like over a 180, like maybe a 200, 210. Like if this was like the X Games, hey, like I might get some points for that, but here in the cockpit, I'm gonna get sick. So yeah, I leave that at 0.7. You can play around with these settings. They have their recommended, and then I've got my own settings, and they could change in like 6 months from now. The next one is center stabilization. So this adjusts how sensitive the camera should be to head movements while close to its default rotation on the pitch yaw, and increasing the setting to create a larger dead zone around the center, meaning that you have to turn your head more before the camera starts turning. So this helps reduce unwanted camera movements when only making small head movements. Their recommended value is 0.2. I've got it at 0.35, so even less movement. So I've got to like turn my head. Yeah, I've got to turn my head just a little bit more before it starts to move. Then this next setting is the head tracking sensitivity. This time it's the roll. So with this, it adjusts your how sensitive the camera is to head movements. The higher the setting, the more the camera will turn when you move your head. So the setting value is a multiplier of your head movements. So that means a setting of 2.0 is twice as much as the turn of your head. So you set this to disable the roll. Their recommended is 1. And I've got the roll on, but it's depending on, it's a 1-for-1 for my head movement. Then this next one, I've got it at 0. This is the head tracking sensitivity position. So this is where the 6 degrees of freedom come into play. So like if I move forward, the camera's not moving. But now we turn this on. Let's put this. They've got one is it's either turning this on to 1 or 0. But actually, there is a sensitivity in between. So, but if we minimize this, and you can see how like I can like pretty much like grab onto that dash. I can back up. I can turn and then like lean out. If you've got it probably like at 2 or 3, you could probably poke your head out the window, that kind of thing. But if you want to move to the side and then but yeah, for me, like you can move over and then look up and then you can see the overhead panel. But for me, I'm not gonna go start trying to click on buttons like this. If I got it in this position like this, I would actually freeze the Tobii at that point and then be able to focus. But yeah, for me, that's off. But you can do whatever you want. maybe in a general aviation aircraft, you want to be able to maybe move to the center. Hey, you know. And this, oh yeah, I said it's either 1 or 0, but that's actually for the next one. This one, if it's at 0, it's disabling the head tracking on position. Their recommended value is 2. Now we go to this last one, the head tracking auto center. So this automatically recenters the camera slowly over time to account for small head position changes while playing that are not explicit movements to manipulate the camera. So you can also manually recenter by pressing the reset head tracking hotkey, which I've got it set to my stick. And I also have a track IR button on my Stream Deck to stop it. So this is either 0 for off or 1 for on. There's no in between. It's just 0 or 1. So that's it for these settings. Let's actually go back and I'll show you that I've got on the flight deck stick, I've got toggle head tracking. So that toggles the head tracking on or off. Actually, they've changed that. So it's in 2020 it was called track IR, but they've now changed it to head tracking because obviously their partner is not with track IR, it's with Tobii, you know. So get out that one. The other one that I've got set is on the side of my stick, and that is the eye tracking reset. So those two buttons you're going to want to map for your Tobii, and that just helps out. Like, you might be stuck back there, and then you don't want to crank your neck. You could, so like in my case, I'm not gonna, if I look like this, I can then reset it. So then now when I turn my head back, I'm actually going back even further. But we'll reset that back to the center. Now the question is, should you get the Tobii Eye Tracker 5? Well, if you want hands-free immersion and don't want to wear a headset or fuss with track IR profiles or even open IR, which is like a free thing, this is a fantastic upgrade. Because I actually came over to the Tobii Eye from the open track. For me, it just didn't work. And then actually when I got the Tobii Eye, I had issues trying to get the open track off of the PC. So it's a bit of an investment, but it works with other games too. So not just Flight Sim, there are American Truck Simulator, European Truck Simulator 2, Farm Simulator, Star Citizen, even like Far Cry, DCS. Like, there's a pile of games that have support for the Tobii Eye Tracker. But once it's set up, you pretty much never want to fly without it. I've gone without it sometimes, but every time I've gone without it, I've always missed it. Because then it's like, okay, well now I got to use the stick on my stick to like move around, and I'm like, it's not really natural. And like for me, when I'm in an airliner, even in like a general aviation, like a Cessna or like a Piper, when I'm taxiing, I want to take a look before I'm turning. I want to take a look out the window. It's the same thing like in Truck Simulator. You want to look. Well, with the Tobii Eye Tracker, you can do that just naturally without having to press any buttons. So if you do want to pick one up, I've dropped my affiliate link in the description below. It helps the channel and doesn't cost you anything extra. And by the way, there's a 5% discount code down there. So if there's not a discount already on the website, you'll be able to get that 5% discount. If this video helped you out, give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more Microsoft Flight Simulator tips, tutorials, and hardware guides. You can also join the Dispatch, my free flight sim newsletter, or become part of the flight crew as a channel member for exclusive perks. Links are in the description below. And let me know in the comments if you're using Tobii already or if you have any questions about setup. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you in this next video.